Ahsoka episode 5 on its way this Tuesday night. Let's make some predictions. Now, of course, we left off this past Tuesday with the return of Anakin Skywalker, an amazing moment in Star Wars history. Ahsoka pretty much dying, question mark at the end of that, showing up in the world between worlds, and then, of course, we saw that man in the background right there, Anakin Skywalker. Now, if you didn't check it out already, go check out my previous video discussing the world between worlds and what I think we are going to see between Anakin and Ahsoka specifically in the next episode. However, this is my prediction video, so I do think the majority of the episode literally may just be Anakin and Ahsoka, with all of the rumors, all the possibilities that we have been discussing for over a year with the Ahsoka show regarding the world between worlds and what we can see with Ahsoka and Anakin. There's a lot of ground base to cover there if they do all of these, creative imaginary things that I'm not getting my hopes up or we're going to see every single one of them, but like we could definitely see a couple of them, and if so, that's going to take up most of the time in this episode. And I'm honestly perfectly fine with that if this entire episode 5 is literally just Anakin and Ahsoka. I mean, I don't need them to cut back to Hera or what Sabine, like, I'm all for if they do, but like, if they just spend all 30, 35, 40 minutes, whatever it's gonna be, between just Anakin and Ahsoka and looking through the world between worlds and dialogue and this, that, and the other, and just giving us an emotional episode between these two iconic characters, I am all for it. Especially because of the possibilities we can see in the world between worlds. We talked about it in yesterday's video, but of course, we may see, rumored for a long time now, but we may see through the world between worlds portals what would have happened if Ahsoka truly did go to Mustafar and fight Anakin Skywalker. One of the underlining storylines of this season is Ahsoka blaming herself for Anakin's fall to the dark side, and I do think one of the, I should say really the overlining storyline for just next episode specifically is going to be Anakin showing Ahsoka that what would have happened, him turning to the dark side, was going to happen either way, and it did not just happen because Ahsoka walked away and Ahsoka wasn't there. All the events that took place with Anakin Skywalker would have happened whether Ahsoka was involved or not. So I do think that'll be one of the overlining themes of next episode, also just including the elevation, or I should say the evolution of Ahsoka, possibly into Ahsoka the White, remains to be seen. But we may get that look into what would have happened if Ahsoka went to Mustafar. We might get, through the world between worlds portals, there's a lot of possibilities, a Clone Wars flashback that features Ahsoka, Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which would be sick because if we get Ian McGregor, however you say his first name, McGregor in this show, dude, that would be so freaking awesome. And then on top of that, possibly adding Captain Rex to the fold, even if it's a 30-second to a minute Clone Wars flashback of those four together in live action, dude. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry, And people have thrown out other ideas. We could see a live action look into the Siege of Mandalore with Ahsoka versus Darth Maul. What could have happened if Ahsoka did go with Darth Maul to take down Emperor Palpatine? We might get a live action look into the fight between Ahsoka and Darth Vader in Rebels and Malachor 5. How insane would that be? And I'm not just throwing out ideas for the sake of throwing out cool moments, but the overlining storyline to all of this is Ahsoka looking through these past pivotal moments in her life to realize that no mistake that she made was going to change the future of Anakin Skywalker. And on top of that, every situation that she has been involved has all just been leading to her ultimate evolution, which again might just be Ahsoka the White. And one thing that I think would be really interesting to see somehow through the world between worlds is they keep talking about what happened between Ahsoka and Sabine the first time around when Ahsoka was trying to train Sabine. Obviously there's some kind of falling out, it didn't work out, but it's one of those things where we never saw it and now we've only heard about it. So it would be pretty cool to get a look into what actually happened between Ahsoka and Sabine that made the training the first time around not work out, with the meaning behind it being Ahsoka seeing where she went wrong, looking to see what she can learn and now execute better on in the future, not only for herself but for the sake of training Sabine. And again, this could all lead to Ahsoka the White somehow. And this is hypothetical, but people have thrown this out. It's not just me speculating. People have thrown out that somehow through the world between worlds, Anakin is basically going to place Ahsoka somehow almost back in time, which I don't really like that because I don't want world between worlds it's already said to not be time travel. That's like, I guess, common knowledge, not in a sense, but common knowledge, but people know it's not time travel. But again, just what people are rumoring. People said that we might see Ahsoka basically go back into where we left off in episode 2 of Ahsoka, where that kind of paralleled what happened at the end of Rebels, except this time around, it truly will be the exact replica of what happened in Rebels, and we will see live action Ahsoka the White, who is this ultimate evolution of Ahsoka Tano. Work out the details how you may, and again, it's not my theory, but it's a lot of people's theory. It's just an idea. How we get there, I don't know. And listen, I went into way more detail to all of that in my last video, so go check it out in the cards, talking about Anakin versus Ahsoka on Mustafar and all the world between worlds stuff. But what else could we possibly get in episode 5, if we get anything at all, on top of everything between Anakin and Ahsoka? You know, I was writing my notes down for this prediction video, and I thought about one of my favorite moments, honestly, from episode 4. It's when we have the double lightsaber battle going on Seatos, and we have Shin versus Sabine, and Shin force pushes Sabine into the tree, which absolutely just looked violent to begin with, but then Sabine's helmet popped off, which I thought was sick. I popped huge in the moment because I just thought it was super badass that she force pushed her back that hard, and the impact completely knocked Sabine's Mandalorian helmet off. And then they even made sure you realized that, because there was a shot that I loved a couple of minutes later where they kind of panned to the Mandalorian Sabine helmet on the ground, but then in the background you faintly saw Sabine and Shin battling with their lightsabers, and I thought it was kind of like a foreshadowing, if that's the word, of Sabine leaving her Mandalorian roots behind and becoming a Jedi. And maybe they were just trying to show like, yo, her helmet got knocked off and it was just a cool shot, I don't know. But tracing back to that, I think we might get Hera Syndulla showing up on Seatos, because she's right there in the sky, and then she might find Sabine's helmet and think they're dead, because Sabine's not there, Ahsoka's not there, obviously. So she's gonna find Ahsoka's ship, sorry, I forget what it's called. She's gonna find Hu Yang, and then she'll probably find Sabine's helmet and be like, what happened here? And you know, one question that I've been asking through all these episodes, we have seen everybody so far, right? Well, we haven't seen Thrawn or Ezra technically, but like, we know they're definitely coming. But like, we've seen Ahsoka, we've seen Sabine, we've seen Hera, we've seen Chopper, we've seen Jason, Kanan. There's faintly a picture of him, if you noticed a little Easter egg in the Ghost. I think it was in episode 4, forget. But we've seen everybody but one. We haven't seen Zeb so far, and Zeb was in The Mandalorian for like a minute. So if he can show up in what was in my opinion, a horrendous season 3 of The Mandalorian, he can show up in basically what is Rebels season 5. And I do think he will eventually, but I'm getting a little impatient. I want to see Zeb, so maybe Hera's finally going to call in the favor that is Zeb, and I don't know how he gets intertwined, but that's really all she needs to do. Maybe Zeb shows up, they launch an investigate, I don't know. And will we see Grand Admiral Thrawn this episode? Remember, one thing I've not mentioned thus far is that this is a Dave Filoni directed episode. People have called episode 5 literally a religious experience. I think Dave might have called it that himself. Now, obviously, that could be because of everything involving Anakin and Ahsoka, but this is episode 5, directed by Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni likes to play with his toys, I think, in a great way. Some people say that like it's a bad thing, but I don't. Why wouldn't he want Thrawn maybe popping up at the end of his episode? Like, I know he wrote the whole thing, but he's directing this episode, so if anybody wants to get Thrawn's first official live-action appearance down to the T correctly, it's gonna be Dave. So maybe the entire episode is Anakin and Ahsoka up until that last 30-45 seconds like we got with Anakin this week, and it's Thrawn showing up. It's Morgan's ship showing up wherever Thrawn is in this new galaxy, and we finally see Thrawn. Maybe we even see Ezra freaking tied up to chains or something, I don't know. And maybe by the end of this episode, after Anakin and Ahsoka go on this religious journey, let's just say, maybe we're gonna get some clarification as to what's next for Ahsoka. Is she actually dead? Is she going to go back in time to episode 3? Is she just gonna be freaking re-alive somehow? That doesn't make sense. People have speculated, as well as I, maybe she's not actually dead, but she just got knocked out, and since she's got the spirit of the Mortis daughter in her, and she's been to the world between worlds, she kind of thinks she's in the world between worlds in her knocked out state, and she's seeing Anakin and all this stuff, and maybe she's just gonna get found by a Jason Syndulla, who obviously is one with the Force, or at least going to be. And hell, maybe Jason is going to be the one to bring her back to life, and that's going to be a pivotal moment for years to come in Jason Syndulla's future. All remains to be seen, but I want to throw the discourse out to you guys. What do you want to see happen in episode 5 of the Ahsoka show? Leave your predictions down below in the comments. And be sure to stay tuned to the channel, because tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have a live premiere for my Star Wars collection room tour. It's an epic video, plus we're announcing a massive giveaway at the end of that video, so stay tuned. That's going out tomorrow night. And as always, I will see you later this week for my Ahsoka episode 5 review and reactions. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
This is Rogue 2. This is Rogue 2. Skywalker. Do you copy? This is Rogue 2.